Welcome back to the cultivation journey of Buff Weebs, episode 6. It's me again, and this episode I'm here to bring to you, one of my favorite childhood/teenage mangas, as well as a very specific concept that doesn't actually have to do with what we talked about in the previous two episodes. In the previous two episodes, I talked about fat loss. Fat loss over, a decade plus 1 year, as it pertains to myself, as well as fat loss in the context of this little concept known as equivalent exchange. When your body loses 2 kilograms but your weight stays the same, 2 kilograms of fat, there's a good chance that you gained 2 kilograms of muscle but you did not turn 2 kilograms of fat into muscle. Now, when that 2 kilograms of muscle mass increases, there's a good chance that is due to the accumulation of, different kinds of mass within it. One of these masses is going to be protein, more specifically muscle protein. But there's another very important mass that also increases when your muscle grows, especially when it grows in size. This is probably one of the bigger contributors to size. Before I get into that, I'm going to talk about my, favorite childhood/teenage manga, and that is Toriko. See, Toriko is a manga written by Shimabukuro Mitsutoshi, and Toriko is the name of the main character. What he does is that he walks around using his hands as knives and forks and beats the crap out of things. But somewhere around chapter 186, Toriko is exposed to a new technique. This technique is known as food immersion. Food immersion is the technique of storing a very specific kind of mass within the body without gaining fat. It affects your body's overall density, so your mass increases but your volume stays the same. So you don't get bigger, but you get thicker. Yes, dummy thick. And I'm sure dummy thickness is not the reason why I love Toriko, but I like it enough that I actually went to Japan and bought myself a, physical copy of the, Japanese series. But that's beside the point. Let's talk about the mass that is put on in food immersion and with a little semblance to actual humanity, us. You see, your body puts on a lot of mass known as carbohydrates when you gain muscle. Carbohydrates, they are a very, potent energy source for the body, and it usually comes in two forms. The first is going to be known as simple carbohydrates, and these, you probably understand it best as glucose or sugar. This is going to be distributed throughout the body and is usually present in your blood. Then you have a complex carbohydrate, and that's known as glycogen. Glycogen is stored in two major places in the body. The first is going to be your liver, which is very important when you're in a channel like this, or if you're going to drink something that has a 40% alcohol rating, 80 proof. But the other place that glycogen is, stored in large amount is going to be your muscles, more specifically your skeletal muscles. Skeletal implying that the muscles are on the bones. Yes, because some organs are also made out of muscle. Your heart is a gigantic muscle and the heart is the strongest muscle. Just kidding. That is I think I tried to quote League of Legends and I failed miserably. That said, your skeletal muscles are going to have a lot of glycogen in them. And glycogen is going to be a key contributor to size because glycogen binds to water. And by binding to water, it's going to store water within the muscles, and this helps contribute to the overall size of the muscle itself. So when you get bigger, there's a good chance that you're adding, proteins, muscle proteins, that's good, pure contractile tissue, and there's a good chance that you're also adding carbohydrates into the muscle for it to use as a readily available energy source. And it's going to come with a certain amount of water. There is a rough ratio of 1 gram of glycogen is going to bind to about 3 grams of water. And why is this little bit about water that I'm harping on so relevant, so important? I'm going to talk about it in the next episode, and it's going to deal with what happens when you look at the weighing scale and your weight, fluctuates throughout the day. There's a good chance that is going to be due to glycogen and water, and I'm going to talk about it a bit more. With that said, do check out the manga series Toriko if you haven't. Kinda not safe for work for many people, but it's a Shonen Jump kind of manga, so it should be good. That's it. Hope you enjoyed this episode. I try to make it a quick one. Hope you actually learned something a bit about the body, more specifically about muscles and how they store a certain type of mass known as glycogen. But if you did enjoy the episode, do give us a like, please share, subscribe to the Whiskey and Weebs channels. Otherwise, do follow us on social media. We're trying our best to keep everyone posted and produce more content for everyone. Otherwise, hope you have a nice day. Peace.